The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion Remastered. Before you buy, greetings, adventurer of game review. You imagine chilling in a Tamrielic tavern, sipping dodgy mead when Bethesda crashes through the door like Mehrunes Dagon with a megaphone. Shadow dropping The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion Remastered in a live stream so lit even Sheogorath's taking notes. After years of Reddit leaks juicier than skooma, blurry screenshots snapped by drunk Khajiit, and a sneaky Microsoft doc spilling the beans during its FTC cage match, it's real, it's here, and it's strutting onto Xbox Series X OS, PS5, PC, and Game Pass like it owns Tamriel. This ain't just a remaster, it's Cyrodiil with a 4K fur coat, some new tricks, and enough old-school jank to keep purists grinning. But before you toss $49.99 at this fantasy banger, let's take a cheeky, obsessive romp through the 15 things you need to know, blending the original scoop with fresh before-you-buy tea from Game Review. 1. Unreal Engine 5 meets Creation Engine, a shiny mud crab with old bones. Virtuos rebuilt Cyrodiil in Unreal Engine 5 for visuals so crisp you could slice ebony, but here's the tea: the game logic still runs on the OG Creation Engine. This hybrid means high-res textures, new models for every tree and tavern rat, and weather so gorgeous you'll pause quests to gawk at sunsets. Yet it keeps Oblivion's quirky soul. Towns like Bruma pop like 2025 blockbusters, and enemies look scarier than a clan fear on skooma. For role players, it's a dream. Tamriel feels alive, rivaling Dragon Age, the Veilguard. But the Creation Engine's jank lingers. Expect bugs like robes not rendering or a clan fear yeeting itself like a Daedric bottle rocket. Your PC might sweat harder than a Nord in Elsewhere, and purists might miss the 2006 chaos. Still, this mix of new shine and old vibes is why Oblivion feels fresh, yet nostalgic. 2. Character models, from potato faces to Khajiit catwalk stars. Gone are the potato-faced NPCs that look like they were carved by a hungover Dwemer. Virtuo's new models give skin textures smoother than a high elf's ego, hair flowing like a L'Oreal ad, and Khajiit fur so silky you'll want to pet it. Enemies from scamps to minotaurs are terrifying enough to make you rethink heroism. The character creator still lets you craft weird freaks with that Oblivion vibe. Think Khajiit crossed with a sweet roll addict. Even Emperor Uriel's septum looks uncanny, like he's stuck in the uncanny valley. Role players will love their custom Argonian glowing in 4K, but the detailed models might lag in crowded Imperial City markets. Fans of the OG's meme-worthy faces might miss the chaos, but this glow-up's too perfect to resist. 3. Washed-out colors. Cyrodiil's got a Skyrim makeover. The new lighting system is a stunner. Real-time shadows make dungeons feel like horror flicks, and torchlit caves are moodier than a Dunmer poet. Cyrodiil's color palette is desaturated, leaning into Skyrim's brown and gray vibe instead of the OG's vibrant blues and greens. Forests lack that dreamy lushness, and biomes around the Imperial City feel samey. Towns, foliage, and water still dazzle, but if you loved Oblivion's high-contrast fantasy pop, this might feel like Cyrodiil swapped its party hat for a Nord's funeral cloak. Immersion junkies will adore the cinematic vibe, but dynamic lighting could stutter on consoles, and color purists might pine for the 2006 rainbow. 4. Dialogue. More voices. Same criminal scum glory. The original had 3 voice actors, making Cyrodiil sound like one big family reunion. Now each race, growly Nords, purring Khajiit, sneering Dunmer, has unique voiceovers, with new actors matching the OG's stilted, awkward cadence for authenticity. Iconic lines like "Stop, you violated the law" are back to haunt your TikTok feed. This diversity makes merchant chats or Dark Brotherhood threats feel like role-playing gold, but some new voices might miss the campy charm. Though the slavish dedication to old-school awkwardness means it's not a full modern overhaul. Still, it's a win for a game where you talk to half of Tamriel. Just don't expect Oscar-worthy delivery. 5. Sprint button. Run like you've chugged skooma. No more jogging like you're hauling a cart of cabbages. The new sprint mechanic, straight out of Skyrim, lets you zoom across Cyrodiil or chase bandits like you've had too much moon sugar. Especially in Oblivion gates, which still feel like a Daedric treadmill. Animations are smoother, though the third-person running animation's kind of funny, like your Khajiits auditioning for a comedy show. Speedrunners and explorers will worship this, but purists might miss leveling athletics by walking like a Tamrielic Fitbit guru. Early game balance could wobble if enemies can't keep up with your new speed, but who cares when you're sprinting to glory? 6. Lip sync tech. NPCs finally look like they're talking. The OG's lip sync was like sock puppets with a grudge, but now mouths move like they're in a Pixar flick, with Khajiit whiskers and orc tusks animating realistically. This makes every haggle or threat feel natural, boosting immersion for roleplayers who live for NPC banter. It's a small touch with big impact in a game where you're chatting up Cyrodiil's finest. If the new voice acting stumbles, though, the fancy lip sync might feel like putting a crown on a mud crab. Still, it's a leap from the "my mouth moves but my soul's in Oblivion" energy of 2006. 7. Level scaling. Still beefy bandits, no Skyrim fix. The original's leveling system was a math nightmare. Enemies scaled so hard you'd fight bandits in glass armor by level 20, making you feel weaker as you leveled up. The universally reviled scaling is unchanged, with immersion-breaking, beefy enemies galore. Tombs that had skeletons at level 1 now spawn Daedric Lords at level 29, and it only makes sense for game balance, not lore. Bethesda couldn't fix it without breaking the quest system, so you're stuck with it. Newcomers might rage, but you can manually allocate stats on level up, e.g. strength for mages, giving more control. Hardcore fans might love the chaos, but most will wish for Skyrim's zoned scaling. 8. Combat. Less pool noodle, more Daedric punch. Combat used to feel like swatting flies with a pool noodle, but new hit reactions, sparks, and blood splatters make every strike feel like a fantasy action flick. Controller feedback adds oomph, so slicing Daedra is as satisfying as cracking open a cold mead. Melee bruisers and mages will enjoy the visceral vibe, though chaotic fights might clip. It's not Elden Ring, but it's a huge step up from 2006's Snooze Fest. Just don't expect enemies to always notice you. Some freeze like they're contemplating their Daedric life choices. 9. Third-person glow-up. Archers, rejoice. Third-person mode was a nightmare for ranged builds, with no crosshair forcing you to guess like a blindfolded Bosmer. Now, a Starfield-inspired crosshair and better camera makes sniping mudcrabs a breeze. Animations are fluid, your orc's warhammer swings look badass, except the funny running animation. This makes third-person viable for bow-wielding rogues or spellcasters, letting you admire your 4K armor. Controls need to be tight to match first-person, and any clunkiness could sour the vibe, but it's a game changer for players who want a wider view of Cyrodiil's beauty. 10. All DLCs, plus Horse Armor 2.0 shenanigans. For $49.99, you get a Thieves Guild-worthy steal, all DLCs, Knights of the Nine, Shivering Isles, Vile Lair, Mehrunes Razor, Wizard's Tower, Thieves' Den, Spelltome Treasures, and the infamous Horse Armor, with its madcap quests shining in 4K. The OG Horse Armor's free, but Bethesda's cheekily selling new horse armor in a deluxe package, poking fun at 2006's microtransaction drama. Veterans get a nostalgic buffet. Newcomers get hundreds of hours of content. Some might crave new quests, but this package is a steal, unless you fall for the horse armor scam again. 11. PC specs and crashes. Beauty ain't cheap. Cyrodiil's 125GB storage demand will have you clearing your SSD like you're purging a Daedric cult. Minimum specs: Ryzen 5 2600X, 16GB RAM, RX 5700, are chill for mid-tier rigs, while recommended Ryzen 5 3600X, 32GB RAM, RTX 2080. Let you flex max settings. Some console commands, e.g. give item, work but others don't, limiting tinkering. This balance makes the remaster accessible, but that 125GB and crash risk mean you better have a beefy rig or a lot of patience. 12. PS5 Pro stutters. Not smooth as butter. Running at 4K 60fps, Cyrodiil's smoother than a Khajiit sales pitch, on paper. Xbox players get Play Anywhere for console PC cloud swapping, Open world stuttering, even in performance mode, makes it less buttery than a $50 remaster of a 2007 game should be. It's not a 20 FPS disaster, but frame hitches in Cyrodiil's fields sting. PC fares better despite crashes. Console optimization is key, and PS5 Pro players might need to temper expectations, but the visuals still make Tamriel drool-worthy when it holds together. 13. No mods, no party. Modders, brace for a bummer, no official mod support at launch. The article's polish, new combat visuals, reduces the need for mods, but PC players who live for Skyrim-style modding will grumble. The transcript's mention of limited console commands adds to the tinkering woes. Virtuos might add support later, but until then you're enjoying Cyrodiil's glow-up without turning it into a Star Wars sandbox. Hardcore modders, hold your skooma, this one's a wait and see. 14. UI and quests. Polished, but still janky. The updated UI is cleaner with readable menus that feel like classic Oblivion but easier to navigate. The quest log is weird and vague, especially for side quests, sometimes not updating, forcing you to eavesdrop on NPCs like a nosy Khajiit. Scripted sequences and quest triggers can break immersion, with jank like a guard glitching into a wall mid-arrest. Lockpicking and persuasion minigames keep their retro charm with a modern glow-up, but the vague quests and janky scripts remind you this is a 2007 game in a 2025 dress. Should you buy it? Oblivion Remastered is a no-brainer for Elder Scrolls fans, RPG lovers, or anyone craving a 2025 Tamriel. For $49.99, you get a visually stunning classic with all DLCs, iconic quests, and enough content to outlast a Daedric invasion. Newcomers will find a whole new Elder Scrolls game that feels old but adventurous, while veterans will rediscover Cyrodiil's magic, warts, bugs, and all. The desaturated colors, PS5 Pro stutters, unchanged level scaling, and no mod support sting, but the glow-up sprint button and holy shit moments outweigh the jank. So grab your sword, dodge those criminal scum taunts, and dive in unless you're joining the Mythic Dawn, in which case, good luck explaining that to Akatosh. Hyped to slay Daedra or side-eyeing the bugs? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We're serving Tamriel tea daily. Stay tuned for our review and let's talk. Is this your first Oblivion rodeo, or are you a modding legend itching for Sky Oblivion?